Tunde left his house early. It was Sunday morning. He wanted to make it to church on time. He stepped into his small yellow van, just like any other van heading toward the city center. The driver smiled and greeted him. The van was half full. Other passengers were chatting quietly, scrolling on their phones. Soft gospel music played on the radio. Everything felt normal. Until it wasn't. After leaving the main road, the van took a sudden turn onto a narrow, isolated stretch. Tunde frowned. "This is not the usual route," he muttered. The driver said nothing. Then, from the back of the van, men stepped forward. Masks, guns.
"Everybody head down! Move now!"
Okay.
Tunde froze. Passengers screamed. He realized in a heartbeat the driver, the man he trusted to take him to church, was one of them. They drove deeper into the forest, guns pointed at every passenger. The van swerved between trees, kicking up dust and leaves. The kidnappers dragged passengers out of the bus, including Tunde. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy. One woman whispered Psalm 23 over and over. Another couldn't stop trembling. Tunde tried to remain calm, even though his heart was racing. "God will deliver us," he said quietly. But deep inside, a question formed that he was almost afraid to admit. Will he? Meanwhile, back in the city, Tunde's fiancée waited at church. He was usually early. She checked her phone. No message, no call. She grew anxious. The pastor noticed too. Tunde had never missed Sunday without warning. Word spread quickly through church members. Something was wrong. By the afternoon, they knew he hadn't arrived at church. Prayers began. Vigils started. The congregation fasted and declared protection over him, even though no one knew exactly what had happened. "Lord, let no weapon formed against our brother prosper. Angels of God, locate him, protect him, and bring him back." Pastor Emmanuel took it further. He stopped eating. He declared, "God must come through. He is our refuge and strength. He will show himself mighty." They prayed without ceasing, with desperation, with expectation. But in the forest, hunger was real, exhaustion was real, fear was real. That night, one of the kidnappers looked at Tunde and asked,
"You still believe your God will save you?"
Tunde hesitated. His lips trembled. His mind flooded with doubt, fear, and confusion. Then he answered slowly, "Even if he doesn't, he is still God." The kidnapper stared at him, strangely quiet. The rest of the day was a nightmare. Tunde had no idea where he was going. Ransom calls were made. Church members prayed frantically, unaware of which van he had entered, unaware he was even alive. On the third night, everything changed. Security forces began closing in on the area. The kidnappers grew nervous. In their panic, they fled into the darkness, leaving the captives behind. Tunde and the others walked for hours through the bush until they finally found help. The next Sunday, the church was packed, the atmosphere electric. Tunde stepped into the sanctuary, alive, unhurt, smiling. The congregation erupted in praise. He raised his hands. "They said I would die, but the God of our church, the God you prayed to, showed up," he declared. He turned to the congregation, voice trembling with gratitude. "It was your prayers, your faith that surrounded me. When you pray, heaven moves. When you fast and intercede, God fights for us. Darkness cannot stand against the light of the Lord." Tears fell. Hearts burned with renewed faith. People shouted, "If God did it for him, he will do it for me." From that day, the church never underestimated the power of prayer.